rest of the seaon. Russell Wilson now will be the backup. Dart will be the starter, and we'll see how that impacts the Giants on Sunday. Certainly they're counting on that bringing a spark to their team and to the stadium, but Malik Neighbors didn't practice today as well, so that'll be something else the team has to monitor this week.
Yeah, against that Chargers defense, you'd hope you were full force. Bless you.
Bless you.
You know what?
The boss says bless you.
I'm allergic to all that, too. All right, new on NFL Live, Giants head coach Brian Daboll and quarterback Jackson Dart spoke with the media moments ago.
It's my decision. I'm going with Jackson. We're going to get him ready to play this week and the remainder of the season. He's going to do everything he can. Russ will be the backup. I don't think any rookie quarterback is ever just ready to play. You put him in there because you think that he's done enough to show you that he can go out there and compete, and he's done that every step of the way. And that's why I made the decision.
I want to do my best to be a spark. I want to create excitement on the field. I want to be explosive when opportunities are there, and try to just bring a little bit of swagger.
Okay. We'll do that.
Hey, he's answering all the right questions the right way. Our Giants reporter, Jordan Renan, joins us now. Jordan, you were at Giants practice today. You hear Jackson Dart talking about the spark. What were the vibes with his first practice as QB1?
Laura, let me take you behind the scenes at Giants practice, where Coach Brian Daboll, instead of moving station to station and unit to unit like he usually does, was standing right behind quarterback Jackson Dart the entire time we were out there. Then afterwards, General Manager Joe Schoen and owner John Maurer were in the vicinity having conversations with Dart as well. This just speaks to the enormity of this decision for this franchise. It's also worth noting that Daboll said it's my decision when turning to Dart. This shows that this regime needs to produce results, and Daboll knows that. That's why after just 3 games, Jackson Dart is already the Giants quarterback in place of Russell Wilson. Back to you, Laura.
Thanks so much to Jordan for that. Phil, you covered Jackson Dart a lot entering the draft this year. How do you see his transition going from college to the pros, knowing what you know about?
Yeah, the first thing is going to be pretty fundamental. Jackson Dart played 98.6% of his snaps from shotgun during his final season at Ole Miss.
The vein of my existence.
I know it, Dano. We were at the Senior Bowl, and he was literally practicing the quarterback-center exchange because he had so infrequently done that in college, right? The Giants kind of planted the seeds about the eventual move to Jackson Dart in the first 3 weeks. After playing just 69% of their snaps out of the gun last year, the Giants are at 84% in the early goings of the season. Part of that might be because they were playing from behind and playing in some high-octane games. That being said, the offense is going to largely play out of the gun for Jackson Dart. What he offers that Russell Wilson does not offer at this stage of his career is legitimate mobility. Now, at Ole Miss, it wasn't a ton of designed runs because they didn't really need him to run all that much when they were throwing for 350 yards a game and putting up 35 points most Saturday afternoons. But there is an element of mobility that we're going to see there from Jackson Dart we have not really seen from Russell Wilson. But I do think some of this is about, meeting the player in the middle. I think there have been some concerning things we've seen from the Giants offense for the first 3 weeks with the utilization of Malik Neighbors. Dano, I know you've been hot on this. Man. His average depth of target through 3 weeks is nearly 17 yards, 4th highest in the NFL. Last year it was 50th at 9.5 yards. I want to see more make life easy on Jackson Dart by giving the best player on your offense by far some opportunities with the football in his hands.
I love that too, especially the part about meeting him in the middle. Because when you have a new quarterback, especially a young one, Russ is new as well. When Russ came in, it's more of the quarterback's responsibility to get to know the receivers, right? How can we make this operation work the best that it can with my game and how I like to do things and what these receivers are good at? Well, now in this situation, when you have a young quarterback, it works in the opposite. These receivers are going to have to set the offense up to say, okay, well, how quickly does he like to throw the ball? Look at this. This is Russell Wilson, and you're used to those moon balls over top. But with Jackson Dart and these deep balls, you're going to see him drive it more on those very similar passes. So you're going to have to know if I'm running this route, how quickly I need to look, what the positioning I need to have with the defensive back is. And again, the main goal is to give a young quarterback as clear a picture as possible as soon as possible. It's going to be on the receivers as well for that responsibility to make sure as best they can that Jackson Dart isn't considering or having to think about too much.
Yeah, so I would fully expect no huddle from this offense in relation to clearing of the picture, and not just attached to what the receiver does, but also maybe minimizing what the defense can do. And so in that, I think a huge thing for Brian Dable and Mike Kafka, their head coach and then offensive coordinator, is like, you better make sure this young man knows where Derwin James is, because he's that piece where if you're in no huddle, you might be going so fast we're like, oh, he's at the line of scrimmage, and then he's all of a sudden this blitzer, and that 2nd and 8 run play that you had that looked good, it's dead. I've talked about screens more. They need to run more screens, and they need to get them to Malik. Watch this play by Derwin. First of all, he's lined up on the bottom of the screen. This is something one of the reasons why they're good on defense is they flip him, and he's kind of that chess piece wherever. He's got the screen back. He goes to the screen before the back goes to the screen. So if I'm the Giants, I'm not throwing a screen towards Derwin James. I will check out of it. I don't care if I can or can't. I would not have him blocked when he's a blitzer by a tight end. I would mandate that he has to be protected by at least, if you're going to be tight ends, 2 of them, or an offensive tackle. And then you just have to know where he is when it comes into your quarterback run game, which I would expect the Giants to use. And so this is a big challenge. I think the no huddle will help him. The only caveat is when you're going so fast, sometimes you lose sight of where these guys are. Look at where Derwin lines up. He's got to know where he is at all times.
That is such a great point because, as you know, especially for a guy in his first NFL game ever, things are going to look a certain way on the X's and O's. They're going to look a certain way on film, but you're not going to be able to account for those X-factor kind of players that are just going to do something completely off script that you had zero plan for. We played against Palomalu. There was one specific play, like in short yardage goal line. We planned for him all week. He came to the line of scrimmage and did a 360 like spin move in between 2 people backwards.
Were you supposed to block him?
And then, like, do you obsess over him, but then do you not pay attention to him, and then all you're thinking about is him?
Dude, and the first time when you're, like, new to the league, you feel like you just played against a superhero.
Your hair's on fire.
We could do the entire show on this. I get it. It's been very uninspiring with Russ. And I know I heard you say this on TV this morning as well, Dan. A little nervous about this being the first challenge for Jackson Dart.
You would have liked for it to be the next week against the Saints. The other thing about Jesse Minter's defenses, as LA's DC, the last 2 seasons, the Chargers have the best scoring defense in the mistakes, turnovers, not great. All right, let's turn our attention now to the Ravens and the Chiefs. A big showdown between 2-time MVPs, Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. Their rivalry has been one-sided, though, with Mahomes winning 5 of their 6 meetings, including the playoffs, and Mahomes has outplayed Jackson in those games with more passing touchdowns and a QBR nearly 30 points higher than Lamar in those matchups. New on NFL Live, here's Patrick Mahomes speaking earlier today.
I know that you saw Monday night the Ravens, but they're a prideful group, man. I don't think they're going to be very happy with the film, and they're going to come out with the mentality of stopping the run. So it'll be a great test for us. And so it'll be able to go up there and be able to run the football and then be able to pass off of it will be important to us, stay balanced, and go up against a team that's going to be as hungry as we are. So it'll be a great football game this weekend.
Yeah, it's not the start KC was hoping for, but Hawk, is there something in this Chiefs offense giving you hope for a turnaround this season?
I like what I've seen from Tyquan Thornton in this offense. And they're trying to figure things out, right? But he provides an element that this offense is so desperately needed for the last probably 3 years, which is a legitimate deep threat. There was probably 3 different times in that last game that should have been big-time plays. And you've seen it spark throughout the season. But once they get on the same page, which they will, I love this version of it where they reverse the TD call, then the very next play they go back deep to him again. What that gives Patrick Mahomes is when Xavier Worthy comes back, he kind of probably assumes the Hollywood Brown role. And when Rashee Rice comes back, now you have your do-it-everything receiver. And now you have a receiving core that truly gives you weapons and options down the field, intermediate, and short, and they could still go score touchdowns in any way he decides. Again, the Chiefs have desperately needed that over the last couple of seasons.
I think they're a bad matchup for the Ravens defense, though. I do, because I think the Ravens defense is built to play coverage. They've got 5 first-round picks. Even though Jair maybe not fully healthy yet or playing up to his standard, they still believe that their coverage unit can go with anyone. So I just think the weakness of this defense is what the Chiefs aren't good at right now and aren't willing to do it. It's just run the football. Now, if you just watch their runs and take Patrick's runs out, the runs that have been successful is at least when they're in the gun, one back power, meaning down block, down block, down block, and you pull that backside guard. I think one of the things is not having their tight ends be a huge part of the run blocking has to be a part of it. So maybe it's a 6th offensive lineman. And then really the under center thing that's been good is what we call split flow, trying to get everybody to flow one way and you cut the backside of the defensive line. them to win this game, I really think they're going to have to commit to and do well running the football in between the tackles. Those 2 runs would be the way that I would do it. And again, I would implore them. I would entertain bringing the 6 offensive linemen in at times just to maybe help with getting that run started. Because that's not Kelsey's game and that's not Noah Gray's game.
Yeah, maybe they can just watch the film from Monday night because the Lions did exactly what they needed to do to really expose the vulnerability of this Ravens defense right now. With no Nnamdi Madubuike, they are incredibly thin up the middle. And I got to tell you, Monday night there was some concerning tape from a number of guys that you think of as game changers for the Baltimore defense. How about the Lions on Monday night? They had 207 rushing yards between the tackles in just that game alone. The Ravens have been bad between the numbers, both defending the run, but also in the middle of the field, defending the pass as well. Roquan Smith did not look like the player that we are accustomed to seeing him be on Monday night. If I am the Chiefs, and they don't have the personnel the Lions do, maybe along the offensive line in totality, maybe the running back room, but at least you got to give it a shot because I just don't think the Chiefs' offensive formula of whatever that was on Sunday night, even in a victory,
I think it's a great opportunity for Kansas City. I really do. I think it's a great opportunity for them to say, we can do this.
Yeah. I wonder if we can.
Because if we do, gosh, then okay, we can get into a better place offensively.
Well, you don't know how long Nnamdi Madubuike is going to be out, but not playing in this game, maybe the next time they see him down the road, they will have him. So maybe it is the chance to do it while this Ravens
defense team to do it against
dealing with some injuries too. All right, we're just getting started on NFL Live on this Wednesday. Glad you're with us. Jerry Jones says there's nothing personal between him and Micah Parsons, but did Micah get that memo? Hear what the All-Pro has to say ahead of Sunday's matchup. This coming in today. Plus, is no Mike Evans no problem for the Bucs? Well, one of us thinks they've already got a guy who can be like Mike. See what we did there?
I like that.
I get it.
Like Mike.
I get it.
I think you might be the person.
You write these?
Yeah. Well, no. We have people who write some of them. Here's Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels speaking to the media moments ago.
I mean, he's Terry. He does what he does. He makes big plays, but, we kind of was dealing with that throughout training camp. So we very much have the next man up mentality. We're confident in other people to make plays.
All right, so Hawk, and already hobbled Jayden, now potentially no Terry. How troubling might that be for the Commanders against Atlanta?
It's going to be very troubling, but specifically for Cliff Kingsbury, who was putting together a hell of a campaign for it to be the first call made to anybody who had the head coaching vacancy, because he was able to put up 41 points without Jayden Daniels. Now you take away Terry McLaurin. If he can still show that this offense is as good as it's been, everybody should be on his phone.
Oh, I love it. All right, the sound keeps rolling in on this Wednesday. Here's Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence addressing the media this afternoon.
You're not always going to play your best as an offense, but it's how do you respond and find a way this week against another good opponent to go out there and play better offensively and just be more consistent, better on third down. Obviously the penalties, throwing, catching, passing game, we gotta clean up, we gotta be sharper. I didn't make the corrections in the running game and move on, but I think that's the key, is just getting better every week.
Then the Jags squeezed out a win this weekend against Houston, but the offense still looks shaky. What's going on in Jacksonville?
Well, they got to drop or catch the football. They lead the NFL in drops right now. Unacceptable with a unit like that.